Stream at wsmn.live.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump sent holiday greetings to military members serving around the world.
On behalf of the First Lady and our entire country, let me thank each and every one of you for your extraordinary devotion and service to America. I also want to salute your wonderful families, and it's amazing how much they sacrifice.
He's spending Christmas at his home in Florida. In Washington, D.C., there will not be a jazz concert tonight at the Kennedy Center. Host of Jazz Jams tells the AP he canceled the performance after the White House announced that President Trump's name would be added to the facility. Pope Leo celebrated his first Christmas Eve Massive Pontiff. The Vatican press office says 6,000 people were inside St. Peter's Basilica. Firefighters in Southern California said they've rescued people trapped in their cars as the region gets pummeled by heavy rain, led to worries of floods and mudslides, especially in burn-scarred area. And the Justice Department says it's discovered over 1 million additional files related to Jeffrey Epstein. This is ABC News. A federal judge's ruling allows Hawaii to include cruise ship passengers in a new tourist tax. State passed the tax, the first in the nation to deal with climate change. Cruise Lines International Association challenged the 11% tax on gross fares paid by passengers, but a federal judge denied that request. For customers of a North Texas supermarket, a technical problem turned into an early Christmas gift, as ABC's Jim Ryan explains.
When the cash registers went dark and the checkout line grew, the manager made an announcement.
Unfortunately, the computers are not coming back up right now.
Customers knew it couldn't be good, and then it was.
Everything that you have, we are going to bag you up, and we hope every one of you have a very Merry Christmas.
Belinda Brown is on a fixed income and couldn't believe it.
I had probably about 4 or 5 bags full of stuff because I've got grandkids coming.
Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or bird seed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
Dependable Lock Service is your source for replacement car keys, custom safes from Liberty Safe, and so many more lock and key services. With over 30 years of experience in lock and key industry, there's nothing Dependable Lock Service can't do for you. Whether you're looking for duplicate automotive chip keys, rekeying commercial and residential locks, or custom safe building, we've got you covered. Call 603-886-0559. Nashua's dependable lock services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The sky's not the limit, it's just the beginning. I'm Ed Mullen from Nashua Aerial Advertising. There's no better way to advertise your business and or message than high in the sky. How can you make your advertising budget work for you? By putting your ads up where they'll stand out. The sky is an uncluttered, impressive venue. You can put your message over a region or location to target your desired demographic. Put your ads where they're needed. We provide coverage over communities through Merrimack Valley, Greater Nashua, Manchester, Lowell, and points throughout South Central New Hampshire and North Central Mass. Summertime beaches, sporting events, races, fairs, and festivals are all ready-made for banner telling. For more information, please visit us online at NashuaAerialAdvertising.com. And remember, the sky's not the limit, it's just the beginning.
NASCAR. It's more than just driving fast and turning left. Bob Bianchi and myself, Bob Bartis, are credential-carrying members of the NASCAR media. Each week, our live 2-hour broadcast breaks down everything happening in the world of NASCAR. We recap the prior week's race results, preview the upcoming races, and discuss the NASCAR news. If you like racing or fast cars, join us live in the showroom at Allen Mello Dodge every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. or listen, stream, and watch at wsmn.live.
Hi, this is Cody from the Nashua Community Music School, and I want to sing about our season of giving. Through your support, we can continue to provide high-quality private music lessons, music therapy, and music outreach to our community all year long. Our goal is to cadence at $30,000. If each WSMN listener were to only donate $5, we would accelerando to our goal in no time. Help us kick off the fundraise to the holidays by marking your calendars for December 2nd and visiting our website, NashuaCMS.org, or following us on Facebook and Instagram at Nashua CMS, or by giving us a call at 603-881-7030.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to the Common Sense Conservatives, a political discussion group about current events and other government-related matters every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Right here on WSMN 1590 AM, WSMN 95.3 FM, and streaming live on wsmn.live. Making sense of the inverted reality we are subject to every day, the Common Sense Conservatives are here to help bring you back to reality. Now, your hosts, Chris Wyatt, Todd McKinley, and John Grosvenor.
Well, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to the Common Sense Conservatives. I see that Santa is in the studio there in place of Colonel Chris Wyatt. Colonel, I love the getup, love the hat. Merry Christmas. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm very well. Actually, I usually wear my Santa Claus suit at this time, but I don't have the suit on, just the cap. The suit's a bit warm, and I've already worn it last night and twice today, so I need a little bit of break from the Santa suit. But I'm well. Ho, ho, ho. Apparently, the beard suits me, and people say it was actually a little bit longer a few weeks ago. It was perfect for Santa, but too long a few years ago, too short now, perfect a few weeks ago. But most people, one of the ladies watching my broadcast earlier said now her daughter's convinced that Santa Claus lives in Pennsylvania. She's also,
I can see it.
She's also convinced that I said, well, I'm sorry about that. She goes, no, it's quite all right. Now I have something over her. Every time she won't go to bed, I'll just say, I'll talk to Santa because I know him.
know him personally. He's a judge of elections in Central PA, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm doing well. Thanks. Merry Christmas to you, Todd.
All right. Hey, John, holding down the studio there in Nashua. Merry Christmas. How's things in New Hampshire? What's the vibe this Christmas season?
Well, I guess things are the same in New Hampshire. We got a lot of snow for the Christmas holiday, and that's kind of good to see, I guess, if you don't mind shoveling a bit. Yeah, things are going good in New Hampshire. Otherwise, other than Democrats trying to pass stupid gun bills and nonsense like that. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but I think we hereby dub Chris as Colonel Chris Wyatt Claus.
The Colonel Claus, right?
The Colonel Claus.
That is funny. So any holiday plans in particular tomorrow that you guys have planned, maybe over the weekend? I know some people do kind of a long Christmas over long weekends. What are your plans for the weekend there, John? Then we'll go to the Colonel right after.
No big plans. Spending time with the wife and gonna enjoy the Christmas time alone together, I guess. We'll see my daughter and stuff like that, and because she's local here, but nothing huge going on. It's nice to as a truck driver, I enjoy being enjoy the house and just kind of relaxing and chilling.
Oh, okay, good deal. What about you, Colonel? Anything in particular?
Yeah, tomorrow we had one of the bartenders offer to work Christmas evening because he's concerned that some folks don't have families to go to on Christmas, which is a valid concern. Apparently, our VFW has never been open on Christmas, which is the norm. Some do open, but most don't. So since someone volunteered, I spoke to the other board members and convinced them that we should open for those folks. The bartender offered half of his tips to the bar. I said, that's fine. Thank you for that. But I mean, if we lose money on one night, it's not the end of the world. It's more important to be open for veterans. We can afford to do that. So I convinced the other board members, and I will be going in tomorrow evening dressed as Santa Claus, like I did last night at the Veterans Organization. So nothing big planned. On Friday, I've got broadcasts to do. I've got interviews with refugees who've come to the States recently. And so we'll see how their first Christmas in America went. And then I actually have a little bit of time to myself this weekend because there's no rugby on that I'll be broadcasting for a change. Plus, my internet service provider has been playing the role of Grinch and cutting my data down. I spent an hour threatening Xfinity earlier on the phone. I doubt that'll have a positive outcome, but at least I got the vent.
Right. Yeah, I can see somebody with a button right now tonight. And 3, 2, 1, and they're shutting it off.
It's probably just AI anyway. It can handle it.
Yeah, no, I didn't really chew them out, but I did tell them I'm exasperated. I said, I mean, I have no choice but to change providers. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I'm paying for a gigabyte of download. I'm not even getting half that. And I'm paying for 30 megabytes of upload, and I'm getting 340 kilobytes in the middle of a broadcast. We cannot function like that. So they told me they elevated my ticket and that we get a call back within a few hours. I did get a call back, but it was an automated call. And I had my phone in the drink holder as I was driving to pick up my steamed crabs, my Christmas treat for myself up from Louisiana. They flew them up. And I went to push the number and the screen went blank, and it must not have quite closed the screen because I tapped the number and it said, thank you. If you decide later to rebook the technician to come out, please give us a call. Thank you for being an Xfinity customer. I'm like, no!
all that.
All
that. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
And so I had to call them back and reopen the entire process again. Oh, man. So
and it's funny is if you got the same person, it's like,
no.
Back. Let's start over.
It would have been nice if I got the same person. Could I had to explain to someone else? You go the whole process again.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Now you realize how much you rely on the internet, whether you want to or not, because everything's there. Your bank is there. Your travel is there.
Yeah.
Your registrations. I mean, it does make life simpler at times. I mean, I can register my car for 2 years and it takes 5 minutes. I can schedule my emissions test and just done like that and go do it. It's
register to vote. So many things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do that through my driver's license. Yeah.
Right.
Somebody brought up a good point here. I found that I've had to restart my router to get better internet access.
That's not the problem. I had a tech. It's been going on for 4 or 5 years. Every 18 months or so, suddenly this happens, and there is something wrong with the connection. And I thought it was in my house. I had a technician come out on the 15th. He went through everything. He checked the connections outside. He changed them and put new connections. He checked every coax cable running in the house to the cable TV, to the modem. He replaced the modem. He checked my line, checked my LAN card, checked. There's nothing wrong in my house. The problem is external, and that's the problem because these people come and look at your house. The people that do the lines, that's a higher level. And when you call, they can't refer that ticket. Only the technician can. So I'm like, did he not refer it? He said he was going to do it. It was the 15th. He was up from Baltimore, drove 2 hours up here to do the work. And I felt bad because it snowed that day. It was on a Friday. And he came up here, it snowed. And on the, I think it was the 15th. It was 15th or Friday. Sounds about right. Yeah. Anyway.
So your modem's not like 25 years old or anything.
No, it's the 6th modem in 4 or 5 years. Their solutions always change the modem. Yeah. But when I called the lady today, she did the diagnostics for remote. She said, oh, your router's rebooted 400 times. What? I mean, I don't even know about that. It's automatically reboot because something is wrong. Yeah. 400 times in over a week. I mean, come on, 9 days.
That's not something internal right there. That's an external thing. It's pinging wherever, a switch somewhere.
Exactly. And getting these people to do their job, I had to threaten the FCC on them. And I will. I've done it before. No, I've called the FCC before, and I suddenly got attention from Comcast.
So, Todd, what are you doing for Christmas, bro?
Well, I appreciate it. Well, tonight, obviously, doing this beautiful broadcast, we have Donald Trump. I'm using air quotes for the people that are listening. Donald Trump is going to be here in the next hour, spreading Christmas cheer, just so everybody knows at the top of the hour. He'll be here for a couple minutes probably. But I'm going to go do some dinner tomorrow night with some wonderful folks who actually brought me a mini Santa hat here. And I thought it was going to be funny if I had this on whenever the show started. They just walked in, but Colonel, you one up me with an actual Santa hat, but this is kind of funny right here.
Well, that was not my plan.
But yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Donald Trump will be here in the second hour, folks. I did say I was going to wear the Trump mask tonight, so we're going to have fun tonight. I think that's what we should do. But I do want to ask the Colonel one serious question. The Trump class battleship or whatever, you saw this, I imagine.
I did.
What are your thoughts on this? And I know our Navy needs an upgrade. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people are probably going to get their feelings hurt because it's Trump. It's named after Trump. I don't really care if they call it the Trump, the dump, the stump. I don't care. The bottom line is we need a new class of battleship. And people are going to say battleships days are past and gone because of drones. I disagree. Carriers still have an incredible purpose in geopolitics. Right. Parking a carrier off the Persian Gulf, parking a carrier off of Cape Town, parking a carrier off Venezuela has a major impact. It gets people's attention, and it gives us power projection capabilities we wouldn't have otherwise. Imagine trying to fly jets from Homestead in Florida, which is closed now, down to Venezuela. How much time you lose transiting back and forth, how much the pilots would be at risk by being in the air. Going off a carrier deck, you're in Venezuela in 6 minutes.
Yeah, right.
The time that they can get you is very much reduced.
And most of the time under the radar, and by the time they see you, you've already dropped bombs on the target.
Right, because they're flying. Right, they're flying on the deck below the radar, but you can't do that for 3 or 4 hours. You know, it's exhausting. No. So it's also, if you sneeze, you'll go into the drink. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Shoot! $18 million.
Watch the movie Top Gun Maverick. You see the nap of the Earth going under the radar. You know, that's kind of what these guys do, and some of them actually get closer than what they did on Top Gun Maverick for sure.
So specifically about this, we need a bigger Navy. I'm sorry, I'm an Army guy, but we need a bigger Navy for power projection. We need the ability to project our forces further, and battleships play a key role in bombarding, doing shore bombardment, and project their naval power, particularly in the South China Sea, in the Straits of Malacca, there in Indonesia, and around the Horn of Africa as well, which is a place we're barely ever at. The reason we need that is because China is challenging us. They've built a 600 ship fleet. We are behind. Their ships aren't as capable, but it doesn't matter when you got 30 ships to one, you're going to sink the one ship, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, if you ever play Battleship, once you start losing a few ships in Battleship, you're lost. You know, it's all over. So I think it's great. And also, I think it's really cheeky and I love it. Remember when he created Space Command, the emblem looks remarkably like Starfleet. You know, from Star Trek.
Sure, yeah, but they got that from NASA. It's a Delta thing.
I know, but
sorry.
I know, but what I'm saying is, let me take that and stretch it one more. The ship that they listed, the first name battleship, is USS Defiant, which of course is the battleship that was in Deep Space Nine.
Yes, true. I love that.
So whether there's a Star Trek intent or not, as a Trekkie, I love it. It's awesome. The USS Defiant.
You found a connection there.
Yeah, the USS Defiant. I love that name. That's a great name for a battleship.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I know I've seen that before. And I was like, Star Trek. I know where that's from. Perfect. I love it.
Deep Space Nine. That's the little tough battleship they sent them, experimental battleship they gave to Worf eventually, and he commanded it. No, I'm excited. Of course, I read that they're going to have the first ships delivered in 2.5 years. That I find hard to believe. I read somewhere else would be 2030 something. I worry that after the next Republican administration goes out, the ships aren't delivered. They'll simply cancel the program after spending $30 or $40 billion, which would be a shame.
Yeah,
we need these ships, whether they believe it or not, and that's coming from an Army guy. So if I'm saying it, it's obviously not biased.
Yeah, because you got to think the time it takes to bring a ship from just a concept to actually putting it to sea after sea trials, etc. It can be a decade or more. I mean, think about the Ford was in dock for what, more than a decade easily, right? 15 years.
It was a long time, yeah.
Right. So it can be a while, but by that point, our ships that are out there on the seas right now have aged another decade or more. And probably well past their service time, right? I'm imagining.
Well, I mean, think about this. People don't realize, but the Black Hawk, the Abrams, and the Apache were all they're all 70s programs with 60s technology. Now, think about that, because that's when they went on the drawing board, was in the 60s. They started developing in the 70s, and they were fielded in the early 80s. And we have them now 40 years later as our prime uses for attack helicopters, and for moving personnel, and also for battlefield, the tanks. Now, they've gone through changes and upgrades. What we see today with the M1 Abrams is not the same Abrams we saw. Originally, it was 105 millimeter smoothbore. Now it's 120. It's also got the ability to travel at 55 miles an hour and with a stabilizer and shoot straight. And it also has different armaments. So it has a lot more capabilities. And the same with the Black Hawk. It's much more powerful engines. They last longer, so on and so forth. But it's essentially the same helicopter that was developed back then. And then the Apache's light years from where it was, but even that's now 30 years old with longbow. Apache longbow technology, where the aircraft can autonomously engage multiple targets, firing like 8 Hellfire at the same time, whereas a pilot could only fire 1 Hellfire and guide it to the laser guided point. The aircraft can fire 8 simultaneously and take out 8 targets. That's a capability that's amazing, but it's already almost 30 years old. I mean, they were developing that when I was in Aviation Brigade in 1992, 93, 94, and fielded it around that time frame. So we're already talking about something that alone, our most advanced attack helicopter, is 30 years old. And so the Army needs new technology as well, but the Navy certainly needs more ships. That's for darn sure.
Absolutely. And also another thing to think about, since we're on defense, is the Buff, right? The B-52, our major bomber that's out there, right? Still 70.
That's only 70 years old. Come on.
Only, yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Well, another aircraft that's still out there. We aren't really using it, but a lot of militaries around the world still use it for reconnaissance, particularly maritime reconnaissance. The C-47 Dakota. Some of them are still in the air. Yeah.
Not overly familiar with that, but yeah.
Oh, the
interesting.
Dakota is one of the most successful aircrafts ever built. It's a transport aircraft. In fact, Buffalo Air, based up there in the Yukon in Canada, that's what they fly, C-47s. But it's a commercial version, the Douglas DC-9, I think it or something like that.
Oh,
It's
okay,
C-40
gotcha. Yeah.
It's a C-47, the same aircraft. It's a prop driven thing. It's just amazingly sturdy, and it's the frames are harder and harder to find, but it's one of the most successful aircraft ever built, and it can still fly. Almost 80 years old.
Wow, interesting. So here's something I want to switch gears here from defense to Washington, D.C., the Kennedy Center, the renaming of the Kennedy Center to read the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. A lot of people giving some pushback to the Trump administration on that one. What are your thoughts about the Trump administration adding his name to the Kennedy Center?
Well, I think it's a bit gauche, to be honest. I think it's
I'm right there with
inappropriate. Kind of like the president hawking wristwatches while he's president. That's kind of lame. And also, putting the president on currency. It is a unique situation during 50th anniversary, but we didn't do that for the bicentennial. I don't recall putting the president's face on it. Thank goodness.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd have Carter's face on everything. Wouldn't that be horrible?
Oh, yeah, 70s. It was Ford or Carter. You would have both.
Yeah, it would have been Ford. It would have been, but that would have been just as bad,
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, but no, but you're right, because 77 is when Carter came in after the election. 76. But the thing is that yeah, I don't really care about the Kennedy Center. It's just the place where rich elite snobs go to pat themselves on the back of how great and wonderful they are. And the name never impressed me. The building doesn't impress me. Its location doesn't impress me. So I've never really paid much attention to it. But naming it after Trump, yeah, it's kind of gauche. I mean, you could do this after he's gone. We didn't rename DC National, to Reagan National till after, long after he was gone. I mean, I think it's the left cries about hero worship, and for once they might have a little bit of a point. I mean, it just becomes a bit much. I mean, if people disagree with that's fine. That's where I'm at. You asked me, that's how I feel about it. But I'm not going to rush out and write evil tweets and call Trump names, because
no. But you can be honest and say, I don't like that, because it'd be like your best friend who does something. You're like, dude, that wasn't cool.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you move on with it. Yeah. What about you, John? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of curious. Is this Trump himself saying, "Hey, I demand this is named after me," or
I don't think it matters.
Sycophantic administration. I don't understand why
I think
it's got to be named after Donald Trump.
I think it's a bootlicking.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous. It's time to stop doing that.
I think the board that's over there now basically is like, hey, let's do this, and they're like, yeah, I do know that it needed a major upgrade because that place was being run down, and I think they did raise a lot of money to help revitalize it and bring more events there. But naming it after him, I don't really think that's cool.
I think that they should call, after he leaves office, the new ballroom the Trump Golden Room. That's what they should call it.
Yeah. The Golden Room.
You're tracking with Renee here. She just said that it's the Kennedy Center. Leave it alone. Name the new ballroom after Trump or
that should
an
be
interstate.
An airport, or rename the Acela train just to piss off Joe Biden.
Oh yeah. I mean, Trump, who's never been on the Acela in his life, would look at it and go, "Ooh."
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement from the Department of Transportation. What was once known as Amtrak, now known as Trump Track.
Well, welcome to United Trump of America.
Oh my goodness! No, but I mean seriously, the ballroom should be named after him. It was his concept. And he's the one that raised the money, $350 million. I mean, call it the Trump Gold Room.
Right. And I'm hoping they'll raise a little bit extra. That way they can put in some sort of fund for maintenance, on the house itself, or at least that ballroom. It's going to cost a lot of money to maintain it down the road, for sure.
I do have a question for you, Todd, and for John, if I can here for a second here. I don't know. Would you guys like this? But I could send this email to you. CNN has sent me a discounted price to sign up for their crappy news service. Unlimited articles, live news, original series. Subscribe now for 50% off. They're desperate for cash. You can get an annual subscription for only $35. All of CNN. It's $70 normally. Would you like to subscribe? I'll send you guys email right now.
Why are you reading your spam email? That should be.
That's what didn't make it in my spam box. Went right. They know how to overcome the system. Went right in my regular mail.
No way. Yeah, no, thank you. We're good. Also, you should ask them. Reply. Hey, wasn't there a documentary about immigrants that you interviewed before and you kind of bumped me on? What's going on there?
Well, I might have to subscribe to them because I reference the news so I can call them out a lot, but they put more and more stuff behind their paywall ever since they went to a paywall beginning of December. And I get to the point where it's probably going to be I can't get into it. And then I can't beat up on CNN if I can't read their crap. So I might have to pay them just so I can read their crap and expose them.
I think I would stop beating up on them and use that right there alone. That'd be my final attack. Is stuff's not worth purchasing. I mean,
Well,
come on.
that all
What's
sounds
even
fine.
getting up to
That
watch
all
what they're giving
sounds
away for free?
fine and dandy. But I was asked by my co-host on Wednesdays with the Colonel today out of South Africa, Chris, how many videos have you done this year on YouTube alone? And I counted them up, 755 prepared videos, which are 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes longer. That takes hours to make each one of those. I did 710 live broadcasts and 138 shorts for about 1,500 videos on one channel. Then I've got a rugby channel with a few hundred more broadcasts and another channel. So when you do that many news broadcasts, you can't keep saying, okay, well, I don't have anything for CNN because they're cheap bastards.
Yep. Absolutely. So Justice Samuel Alito criticized the Supreme Court's majority in a sharp dissent Tuesday after the High Court decided 6-3 to temporarily block President Trump from deploying the National Guard to Chicago, according to Fox News. He basically says it's an imprudent act that would limit a president's ability to react to unrest in the future should it be necessary. What are your thoughts on that, John? Should the president be able to deploy the National Guard as he sees fit in this manner?
Listen, guys, we got statutory laws set by Congress, signed by the President of the United States before Trump became president, where he has the authority to enact the National Guard. And by the way, he doesn't have to go to California National Guard to enact a National Guard in California. He can use Arizona or any other National Guard as well.
Right.
It's ridiculousness on their part, and enough is enough. And what is it with these judges trying to direct the president and how the president may or may not do his job? I mean, is this activist judges trying to dictate to the president of the United States what he may or may not do when he has a statutory authority to do what it is he has been doing?
Right. Oh, for sure it is.
And there's nonsense about, hey, bring those people back. You deport those people, and I want them back in this country. Who does he think he is?
Right,
exactly.
to Venezuela is what you're talking about. Yeah, they were deported and sent right to prison in Venezuela because I believe they were wanted criminals anyway, right, down there, or had been convicted or something.
Most of them, imagine.
Right? So they sent them right back to prison, right? I think 60 Minutes, didn't they bump a piece on that recently? I saw something about that. I didn't dig into that, but if you have any knowledge on that, I'd like to know more. Why did they bump the story?
The argument for bumping the story was that they were not able to interview the Trump administration. They felt the story is incomplete without, but that's just nonsense. They don't want to interview the Trump administration. The problem is that I think they're terrified of having a lawsuit again. Trump just sued BBC for $10 billion.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So Trump is suing the BBC for $10 billion.
Yeah.
So I think CBS, which just got paid out 18 million settlements, probably thinking about that before they slander Trump. They're being a little more circumspect about their fake news before they publish it. And I think that's what happened there. But as I said, they claim that the reason was because they couldn't interview the administration. But that's nonsense. I mean, we saw what CNN did. They interviewed me and they just didn't use the film. They didn't want to use it. They used me to get access to refugees, which is fine. I got a free trip out of it. I got to get some work done, and they paid for it. So I'm not losing any sleep over that. But I think that's what happened to CBS. They're getting a lot of flack for it, though. People are not happy. The leftists are losing their minds because they dropped the segment. But I mean, what do we? I mean, look, every one of these people are criminals. I'm sorry. I don't hear that they don't have violence. It doesn't matter. They're in the country illegally. They've committed a felony by breaking into our country, dumping their IDs or passports at the border along the Rio Grande, sliding in our country, assuming identities, and working illegally, driving down wages, spreading pathogens and pestilence like hepatitis and measles and mumps and rubella all over this country. We cannot tolerate this nonsense. It must go. And of course, the media lies about this. Trump is anti-immigrant. No, he's not. His wife is an immigrant. And he's not anti-immigrant. His grandparents were immigrants. The guy's not anti-immigrant. He's anti-criminal. I'm anti-criminal. And by the way, Todd, this year is the biggest drop in the history of the stats kept by the FBI for the murder rate in America, the actual number of murders.
Right.
Murders declined by 20% this year. Never before in history. Gee, what happened this year? For the past 6 months, the president's deployed the National Guard in D.C. and major metropolitan areas. So they're not shooting each other every 5 seconds like they were before. That's part of the big reason why crime has declined.
Right, absolutely, and he's still going to be berated, attacked for it, and fought in the courts. I mean, think about this: anybody who brings a suit against the president for trying to drive down the murder rate and crime rate, et cetera, in your city, should be voted out of office and ran out of town on a rail, if you will. I mean, for sure. Stop electing these people who don't care for you and don't care the fact that, your little son is not safe in his house, basically. Think about Chicago. A number of kids have been killed just sitting in their rooms playing because of stray gunfire, people just shooting randomly. Why do you not care about these kids? I mean, come on. The president, whether you like his rhetoric or not, has done something for this country that no other president in modern history has done, for sure.
Well, the bottom line with this is that the reason things are the way they are is because we tolerate this. These governments tolerate this law. Look what happened in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. They tolerated the fraud, the corruption. They knew it was going on. This case goes back 4 or 5 years, since right after COVID scam started. They identified this fraud and they hid it. They make a big deal about it. Only now are most people finding out about the billions of dollars that were pilfered by mostly Somalis. So, it's because they tolerate this. I watched this horrific video about this home invasion that took place in last year in Minneapolis area, in which these guys came with fake UPS outfits. They broke in the home. They terrorized the mother, and she had a 20-year-old son and the husband in there and 2 little kids running around. And before it was over, they executed the father, and then the mother screamed, "Where are my babies?" And then they shot her in the head and executed her, and they executed the 20-year-old before they left the kids, unattended. And they were caught because these people had cameras all over their house. And so you can see the whole thing unfold. It's horrific. And that happens because we tolerate this lawlessness. Instead of the death penalty for these scumbags, instead of, imprisonment, incarceration, we let these people out again and again and again and again. Yep. And it's no deterrence. There's no deterrence. Look, the nature of human beings, a small number are just inherently evil. It doesn't matter how you raise them. They become evil. And you cannot dissuade them unless you have something to deter them, because they will commit. There was no reason to shoot any of these people. Their faces were covered. And there's no reason to act. They just murdered them and left these kids as orphans. Horrific. 42-year-old mother, 39-year-old husband, 20-year-old son. Sickening. And that's from over a year ago in Minneapolis. But that's what happens especially in democratic states where they tolerate this lawlessness. Right. You must have a deterrent. If you don't have a deterrent, then you have chaos. And that's what we have in much of the world today, chaos, because governments are cowards. They're, when the state has the sole monopoly on the use of force and they don't use it effectively, then this is what you have.
Well, absolutely, for sure. And, it's a prime example of why you should have some sort of protections on your home, whether it's cameras, things that lock your door, secure your door better, guns, whatever the case may be, any number of things. Whether that would have saved you or not, I'm not sure. But, definitely have something to protect yourself at home, because the government's not going to be there to protect you, especially even after the fact. They're going to basically dump on your memory, for crying out loud. And that's what's happened in that case, I think.
What's the average time it takes for law enforcement to answer an emergency services call?
Several minutes. Yeah.
6 to 9 minutes, 7 to 9 minutes.
Well,
actually, a lot can
it
happen in that short period.
You're right. You're right. That's not a long time. And apparently they responded very quickly in this case, because the mother called 911 from the bedroom and left the line open when they broke in. They heard the screaming and the shots and everything in the house, because they fired some warning shots initially, it looked like. But it went on for several minutes. And so, yeah, the point is that you got to defend yourself. In this case, I'm not sure how anybody in the house could have defended themselves, because the way it unfolded, there were 3 of them that came in the house. They all had guns, and it just would have been
Yeah, they probably had access to the door by knocking.
Well, in fact, yeah, they were dressed as UPS guys, fake UPS guys. They were outside. The 20-year-old, the 20-year-old went outside. They had already left. They walked away like, oh, we didn't see. You can see the camera. They walk all the way to the street. He walks outside. They have the package, the fake package. He walks over to the driveway to them and talks to them, and they come back in. That's the thing that gets us. She should have just signed for the package right there. When he got to the door, they pulled the gun and put it in his side and said, "Open the door." So he opened the door, and that's how it unfolded.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay.
It's just horrific. But but this happens because people tolerate it. We allow this stuff to go on. But still, it's really encouraging to see that there are 20% fewer murders in America this year. Meanwhile, I cover South Africa. Murders are pretty high there. They get 27,000 per year. We have 14,000. If ours were down by 20%, that means about 2,800 murders left, working away down to 10,000 per year. One is too many, but 10,000 is a lot better than 27,000. The country's one-sixth our size.
Right. I mean, think about it. 10,000 murders. Let's just say, if we could get it to that point, 330 million-ish people in this country. That's here legally. You know what I'm saying? That's good rates right there, I think. I mean, still needs to go trend downward. But anyway, but a federal judge has allowed New York's so-called green light law, this is according to Fox News, to go into effect, which would allow anyone, especially illegals, to just obtain a driver's license without having to show proof of citizenship or anything. Basically, carte blanche in New York, you get a driver's license, no problem, no questions asked.
Sounds like
sad.
Maryland.
Yeah, sad. And think about the number of people that are killed on a regular basis from these people. You know what I'm saying? And also the fact that they cause our insurance rates to go through the roof because of the number of wrecks that they have, and they're uninsured, most of them.
Well, yeah, that's one of these big issues been going on now, particularly a lot of Indians that have been driving and can't even read the signs. I mean, they're not even English. They're signs. You can't understand the signs, and you get a CDL to drive a truck. No,
right.
It's pretty frightening what people have allowed to happen in this country.
What ticks me off about that issue is it took somebody who was a foreigner that erroneously obtained a CDL license. And this has been going on for a long time. This has been an issue for a very long time. Chicago was giving them out like candy.
Yeah.
Many years ago, they had an incident with an Amtrak train, and I'm talking about like 20 years ago. So it's been an ongoing problem for a long time. But there are a lot of other issues involving the trucking industry besides that they're not noticing, that are just as detrimental. And this is what leads up to it, for the lack of parking or the lack of training. And a lot of these things could have been a combination for his lack of English. But they're not looking at that. They're not looking at a broader picture or bigger scope in this. They're just going to focus on this one issue. It gets hot for a while. They'll mitigate that issue, but that's the only issue they'll mitigate.
No, I'm with you, John. But we know, both of us, or all three of us know, you especially, there are all kinds of problems in the truck industry, and the government is more of a hindrance than it is a help in most of them, is it not?
Yes, it actually is. The hours of service rules don't work. They know they don't
e-logs.
work. They've been told they don't work. Yep, be a forced use of e-logs, which requires you to be bound to an hours of service rule that is broken.
Yep.
It's ridiculousness. Then for 30 years they've had parking studies, spent millions and millions of dollars on parking studies for over 30 years and have done nothing to mitigate the issue for the lack of parking. And we all see the trucks out there parked on the interstate alongside of the exit ramps and entrance ramps and rest areas. We had a bus went and crashed into a truck because he was parked there and he was in the way, and the bus crashed into him while it was exiting the interstate into a rest area. And of course it's the truck driver's fault because he shouldn't have been parked there. Where was he going to park? Exactly. Where was he supposed to be? He was out of hours. He was too tired to drive. He had nowhere to be, and something bad happened. But instead of fixing the issues, they just keep blaming the truck driver.
Well, the system's what needs to be blamed. California has issued 16,000 licenses to people that don't even speak English, if I read correctly. I mean, what the heck is that? How can you pass the driver's test when you can't read the questions? And
because there's nothing illegal for them to give you the test in a foreign language.
Yes, but the road signs aren't in foreign languages, and the laws aren't in foreign languages.
Right.
It's stupid.
Right. And also, how can you obey, say, law enforcement's orders, commands, if you don't understand what they're saying? That's another thing. That's a safety issue. I mean, and then, you roll up on a situation where a police officer's telling you to do one thing because of a safety issue, bridge is out, whatever, and you don't understand. You keep going straight. He's saying go left, go right, whatever. You drive off a bridge that's not there.
But look, guys, we got the North American Free Trade Agreement, right? Or what is it now? It's the
USMCA.
And we allow Mexicans to come into this country with a Mexican driver's license. They don't speak English very well, if at all. They don't understand road rules. I've literally had them use the wrong lanes to make left turns and running into me. And it's just nonsensical because even in the North American, we cross between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and we have a great deal of misunderstandings in language there. Then we have different hours of service rules between Canada and the United States. So if the Canada's figured out what's safest, the United States figured out what's safest, but they're two different rules, then how does it make any, how do you determine what's really safe and what's not safe? It's just wordplay. It's stupid.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to allow people to cross a border and come here and rent a car with a POV license, privately owned vehicle. Quite different to allow someone to come here from across the border with a commercial driver's license. The requirements are very different to operate those vehicles. They should be much more stringent as far as I'm concerned, John.
Yeah, they it's supposed to be, but That's government for you. That's the problem with our government. They make the laws, but they don't enforce the laws they make. They bend them all the time. They think that it's okay. Like these we have a U.S. Constitution. It applies to everybody in every state and according to every state government. And they turn around and say, well, these states have a right to make their own laws. Not if it violates the Constitution of the United States
You
of
don't have
America.
the right to violate the Constitution.
But
that's for sure.
yet they do it all the time.
No, I don't think so, man. J.B. Pritzker told me he can do what he wants to do in Illinois.
Exactly. And whether the U.S. Constitution says different or otherwise, he still wants to do what he wants to do. You got these, like we talked about earlier, these activist judges, and they're trying to twist things around. And this is the problem: is we've got judges or lawyers trying to twist words around to the point that people don't understand the meaning of the language of law anymore. Law should be able to be. You and I should be able to read the law and comprehend it and say, okay, I have an understanding. No, how it's written and how it's practiced seems to be two different things.
Well, it's no different than the budget. I should be able to write the budget in 2 or 3 pages max, not 1,200 pages for a budget. That's just nonsense.
Do they make a budget?
Good luck.
They do occasionally, and it's 1,200 pages long. It's just ridiculous. I mean, look at the defense appropriations bill was, I don't know, like 700 pages in itself. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where's all that money going?
It's big, and there's a lot to account for, especially if you're itemizing. But I'm sure when you're in Congress, they're not itemizing every bullet. But
no.
There's also no need to itemize that. You can simply lay out with the budget and let them spend it. That's part of the problem, is they're dictating these bridges to nowhere and all sorts of stuff. I saw Rand Paul's Festivus report. Once again, we spent, I don't know, like $5 million to teach rats to drink alcohol or something like that. What is that?
I have no, rats need to know how to handle their booze too, I guess.
Right.
Well, I mean, no, we're teaching
maybe rats,
drink,
they don't mean the animal itself. They mean fellow politicians. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, we're not teaching them to handle their booze. We're teaching them to become liquor alcoholics, man. That's what is that? Why would we turn rats into alcoholics? It doesn't make any sense.
What's the point of such studies like this? I mean, what do we gain from it as human beings? What do we get out of it?
More importantly, what if they rise up against us and they're all drunk, man?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they all take to the streets, drunken rats.
We're overtaken by drunken rats.
Right.
I think that's the
Disney
case
film.
in Congress. I mean, yeah.
Well, you're right. That describes a lot of Congress drunken rats.
Oh yeah, a lot of drunken. Right? Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's one of them for sure. But she's jumping ship. She's made hundreds.
God, we talking about? She's not a drunk.
She's made hundreds of millions of dollars while being in Congress. She can go home and retire and eat her $24 a quart ice cream. You know what I mean? Come on.
I would like to make sure that we ensure 100% that inheritance tax is applied on Nancy Pelosi's estate when she dies.
Yeah, I'd love to see what she's worth. I mean,
she's worth north of $170 million last time I checked.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, easily.
I thought it was more than that. Or maybe that's her and her husband combined is more than that. I don't know.
It could be. That's what I saw last time I looked. But, who knows?
Right. Folks, you're listening to the Common Sense Conservatives right here on WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. And yes, it is Christmas Eve. We are live. We decided since, Christmas Eve falls on a Wednesday that we would be joined by Colonel St. Nick there in Central PA. And John Grosvenor holding down the studio in Nashua. So if you're downtown Nashua, drive by the studio, give him a honk, say hello, and wish him a Merry Christmas, folks. But we appreciate you tuning in every Wednesday night, 7 to 9 Eastern, right here, WSMN. Colonel, again, you have plans tomorrow. You're going to wear that Santa suit again. Do you take it and have it cleaned somewhere? Local cleaners? Do you wash it yourself? I mean, how do you maintain this thing and not have it fall apart year after year?
Well, I don't go out and put kids on my lap for starters and have them vomit all over me. So that's made that extended the life. I've never had to clean it yet. I've had it for like 5-6 years. I haven't had to clean it. I just wear it here in the studio, and I've only worn it out a couple of times. So, look, I mean, I'm a person that takes care of things. I've had my cars as long as I possibly can. I had my Volvo for, I don't know, for about 15 years. The only reason I got rid of it was my mother needed a car and I was going overseas. So I handed it off to my mother. I had my CRX for as long as I could keep it. And then I got assigned to go to Africa, and I was in Germany. I couldn't leave the car in Germany. I could only ship one car to Africa. So I sold it, and it was 20 years old. My Toyota is a 2004. It's almost an antique now, 21 years old. I have Pioneer CS605 speakers that I purchased on layaway in 1985 that still work. And they're better than that plastic crap that comes out today. They're made out of wood. and they're fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I tend to take care of things. Unfortunately, today taking care of things doesn't matter. These things are so poorly made; they're designed to break within 2 or 3 years. So that you buy another one. But sometimes you can get the right thing. I bought this Samsung S21 Ultra phone a few years back, almost 5 years ago, and it was great. The only problem is after that long, the battery was, had memory and it wasn't lasting all that long.
Right.
But when by mistake, for the first time I ever cracked a screen when I was at the Rugby World Cup, dropped this because my hip locked up and the phone went flying across the street and smashed. It had just one little line on it, but it was obvious I couldn't keep using it. I took it to a repair place, got a new screen. I'm like, can you guys put a battery in while you're doing it? He's like, not a problem. Here, look at this. He turned over the replacement screen on the back of the screen. It comes with a battery. So I got a brand new battery and a new screen, and it's like new. This thing is fantastic. I've taken almost a million photographs with it. Yeah. So you take care of it, it takes care of you. So the Santa suit,
true.
I don't abuse it, and I haven't had to clean it yet. But it's almost kind of like it's not silky, but it's what's that word?
Velvety.
Yeah, it's velvety. Yeah. So I'm not sure how I would clean, to be honest. But yeah, people love it. It's got the right nice crimson color to it, and the whole suit really looks good. So yeah, the only problem I have is that when I put the belt on, I'm not big enough to keep the belt up. So I have to cinch it all the way around, like 15, 18 little holes in the belt, and it wraps all the way around the back of me because I'm not a fat guy. So I'm not going to complain about that problem. That's a good problem to have.
He forgot to stuff the big fat pillow in there on his belly, though.
Right. Absolutely.
Correct. Well, I didn't forget. I just didn't want it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You want to be a fit Santa. I get it.
Well, no, also it's hot, man. You put the suit on, it gets hot pretty quickly. You put that pillow in, you're going to start melting.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah. This is also from Fox News. Trump-backed candidate Asfuro wins Honduras presidential election. Nasri Asfuro has won the 2025 Honduras presidential election, delivering victory for the Right of Center National Party of Honduras and shifting the political landscape of Central America. The 40.3% to 39.5% result in favor of Asfuro over Liberal Party candidate Salvador Nasralla arrived after the vote counting process had been impacted for days by technical glitches and claims by other candidates of vote rigging. Anyway, it goes into detail about one side pointing to the other, saying that they're blaming one another for rigging the election, whatever, stealing the election. But Trump-backed candidate has won the election in Honduras. Interesting turn of events down there in that country for sure. Any thoughts on Central America or Honduras there, Colonel?
Well, not an area I pay a whole lot of attention to, but I do pay attention to the world as a whole. And it's a good sign for the Trump administration. We lost an ally in Bolsonaro, who has been falsely convicted of a coup and sentenced to 27 years at his late stage in life. By the way, he needs surgery, so they're letting him out of prison to get surgery. I'm a bit surprised that Trump hasn't put more effort into getting him out of prison. His predecessor is a convicted felon who's now the president again down there. Lulu. So interesting story. But yeah, we need a friend. We've got a friend in Argentina and Javier Milei. We've got a friend there. It doesn't hurt to have friends in Latin America because we certainly don't have them in Venezuela. We don't have them in Colombia and a few other places. So it never hurts to have friends. Costa Rica, a good place for us to have friends. And hopefully this guy has a good administration. We'd like to see that.
Seems like South America's are polar opposite, doesn't it? For a long time now. We have the Organization of American States. We're supposed to be working on relations with South American countries. It just doesn't. And the Organization of American States is headquartered in Washington, D.C.
That's true.
I know. I was just walking by it and took photographs of it when I went to the National Security Council a week before.
Yeah, I did. I've been to a few events there. A few years ago, last time I've been there. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I've never had an event just walk past it on the street there. Of course, you got the International Committee or American Red Cross is located there. You got the Daughters of American Revolution. So it's the Organization of American States. Then it's the
Constitutional Hall. Yeah.
Then it's the Daughters of American Revolution. Then it's the Red Cross as you walk up that street. Yep.
Up 17.
Yeah, 17th Street. Yep.
Eisenhower Building side right there. Yeah, and then some museums right there as well. There's some museums on that side.
Yeah, there's an art museum or something like that. And on the corner, when you get all the way up to the corner, which is the corner where the Eisenhower office building is, that street right there, you get that corner. Across the street is where you got the White House Historical Society. You can buy all the White House ornaments. They've got years of them. You get all kinds of cool stuff.
Blair House is right in that area, that complex, new executive building. But I'll tell you a story. I was parked at the Ellipse. This was many years ago, and I served at the White House. I was walking to my truck, and there was a guy and a lady that kind of arguing about where the White House is. And he was pointing over to the Red Cross building, which has a similar look of the White House, obviously the architecture. And then there's the south side of the White House is on that side, and the wife was pointing to that house and say, "Oh, that's the White House right there." And he's like, "No, it's not. This is the White House over here," because the Red Cross building looks like the north side of the White House that people see from Pennsylvania Avenue. And he told me, he goes, "Tell her that that's the White House over there." And I said, "Sure, ma'am, that's the White House over there," pointing at the Red Cross building. And I turned to her, I said, "But the real White House is right there where you pointed to, by the way." And he kept walking over to the Red Cross building, angry at her that she wasn't following him. I thought, man, what is wrong with people? It's obviously that's not the White House. I mean, come on, man.
Well, and it gets a little more complicated because if you're walking up 17th Street going north and you're on that side of the street, especially at night with the lights, you'll look at the south side of the Daughters of American Revolution building. That actually looks like the White House too.
It does, yeah.
It does. Whereas the Red Cross, the front of it looks like, but you see a big Red Cross on. But there, you're like, huh? That can't be right.
Yeah, it's nice.
I believe the Daughters of the American Revolution building you're talking about is quite a bit smaller, though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But when you're walking in the dark, it's dark out there, and you look up and you see it. It looks just like the White House from one side. It's not, obviously, but I'm just saying it looks a bit like it. Whereas,
yeah.
I mean, the Red Cross should. The Red Cross should jump out of the. It's not the White House because it has a big freaking Red Cross in the center
on the top right there. Yeah. But it was just so funny. I mean, he was so adamant, and she's like, "No, I think," and she's like, "This is the side where the helicopters land on," and he's just yelling like, "No, that's the White House." And I'm like, "Wow!" I didn't want to get in the middle of it, but he pulled me into it, And having just walked out of the actual White House, putting my badge away and everything, and he's like, "Tell her that's the White House." "Sure, ma'am, that's the White House." "Oh, that's the real White House."
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
People are funny, especially on holiday. So when I was in DC, I set up and I broadcast live on my phone with the White House behind me, and people walking by, and I went. This young guy turned out to be from Switzerland. He was taking a year break from school, a gap year there. And he came over. He's like, stared at me. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I was broadcasting. "Come on over." So he joined the conversation. We talked for like an hour. He talked about him in Switzerland, everything.
That's
and then
cool,
this family, these folks went by, and there was a squirrel, and I was making a joke about the squirrel because he was trying to find his nut and he couldn't find it. So he ran across the White House. But anyway, so they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm broadcasting live. You want to jump?" Actually, I had just finished live broadcasting. I said, "I just finished live broadcast, but would you like to interview?" Like, "Sure." So from Mississippi and South Carolina or something like that, we did a nice interview, get a little bit of Southern charm from the White House. My viewers really enjoyed that, something different. So when you stand out there on the north side of the White House and people walk by, you can meet some fascinating people.
Oh, sure.
From Norway, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, Southerners, people from all over the country, Switzerland. And that was just a brief time I stood there. It was fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've met so many people just walking on Pennsylvania Avenue there, just, doing whatever. Sometimes just going to a different event or just being social, and people actually take their photos. And of course, you can talk to a lot of good people, and then a lot of them are so appreciative just to be in the country. Like, we appreciate the being here. It's like, and a lot of them are like, "Well, we have to go back home to this place and that place." It's like, "Oh, we don't like it because and they'll let you know, hey, you got a good country here. You guys should embrace it and appreciate what you really have, the freedoms that we have before they're gone." Yeah, it is interesting who you can meet.
Well, we do, and a lot of people don't appreciate or realize just how good Americans have it. They just want to complain about this country, but they've never been to Sri Lanka or to Nepal or to Bangladesh or the Congo or Somalia. There's a reason 80,000 Somalis live in Minneapolis. It's not because of the beach weather.
Right. Even people
basically Somalia went ungoverned for quite a while, didn't it?
It's still pretty much ungoverned. They've got a government, but it's a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Speaking of Somalia, are we going to deport any members of Congress from Somalia? We thinking about
let's hope.
For Minnesota?
Well, I don't know about that, but this whole thing about how supposedly she married her brother, I wish somebody would just run that down if she did, so she could be stripped of citizenship and deported.
I think the reason they said that they couldn't prove that is because government in Somalia, they don't keep very good records.
No, you don't need records. It's called DNA. It's called DNA, man. Just get a cheek swab.
There was a DNA test come along, and they said that the gentleman accused of being her brother definitely should be a relative in some regard or another.
If it's your
Very
brother,
close.
you'll know. Trust
Yeah.
me, I've done DNA. My siblings have done it. It doesn't misidentify them as cousins, or it identifies them as siblings. I even have a half sibling who did the test, and it says half sibling.
So the DNA test, that's where they get the idea that's the brother.
Well, I mean, let's get to it. I mean, if that's the case, let's get her packing. You know, I mean, I'll pay for her flight.
Yeah, we're talking about Ilhan
You don't have
Omar,
to
of
do
course.
that. Come on, we got the United States government will fly her right over there, Chris.
What'd
Why
be
should we have
funny
to
is
pay
if
for
there's a
that?
State of the Union this next year, whether it's, I don't know, it was January, February, whenever the State of the Union is going to be. But if ICE came in right behind her and kind of asked her to leave with them, that would be so funny. I've got ICE coming in. It's Ilhan, stand up. Let's go. You're out of here. Get her out.
Yeah, stop and listen. ICE is here with a brand new invention. It's called detention.
Wouldn't you like to wake up tomorrow and Donald Trump's like, "Merry Christmas, everybody. I've kicked her out of the country."
I think a lot of people would feel, but a lot of these leftists would melt down. They'd absolutely melt down.
That'd be what that would be the addition to the Christmas present right there.
But just when you think that the Democrats can't get enough silly flea bags out there, there's always another one popping up. We had Swalwell, then we had who's the clown there in Texas that ran against Ted Cruz.
He ran for governor as well.
It's
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, that
Beto.
idiot. And then we get the gift that keeps giving. We all want to date AOC before she got pudgy, and then
before she got the crazy eye, got kicked by a mule and that eye.
Well, and then we've got Ilhan Omar, we've got Ayanna Presley. Most people forget about that one. Rashida Tlaib, and then of course the one we all get now is jazz hands. We got Jazzy Crockett down in Texas.
Yeah. And her many accents, right? She's from either from the hood, or she's from the posh neighborhood, or she's from rather middle class, or she's from upscale. She's everywhere. I mean, her accents are all over the place.
This is the one that grew up she grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. And
she did, absolutely. Yeah. And whenever you hear her real accent, it's very kind of posh, kind of right here. But then she puts on the airs of from the streets. And I'm not doing black voice, by the way. I'm imitating her in particular, by the way.
Yeah, so. Well, I mean, you imitating her, imitating black folks.
Right. Well, that's right. Yeah, she's doing black voice, whereas she has a posh accent in real life.
Yeah. She does. She's you can tell she's come from money and some refinement, and she tried to play it off like she came off the streets.
She's not comfortable with the curse word. You can kind of tell. She's not really comfortable.
She's comfortable with them. She just doesn't know how to use them.
Yeah,
she's very comfortable with them, but she just doesn't know how to apply them.
She don't know how to throw them out there, though. She don't know how to use them properly.
You mean like Marjorie Taylor Greene? I mean, she doesn't blast them out there.
She knows how to use them, I'm sure. Marjorie
MTG, she definitely knows how to use them. We've seen her on national television drop enough bombs. It's like, whoa.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but she keeps digging a hole, man.
She's only got a couple of weeks left in Congress. Any updated thoughts on her, Colonel? I know you kind of laid it out pretty good last couple of weeks. What any thoughts updated by chance?
Nah, she has not come back onto the reservation. She's still out there doing her own thing as a Lone Ranger. And if she thinks conservatives are going to follow her, I got news for her. I'm sorry,
right?
Not my cup of tea.
Does she think there's like a niche opportunity to grift here? Because I mean, there's so many organizations that just are on the grift out there. I mean, any number of national organizations, are grifting from people.
Well, the thing about this is a lot of these people, they're just frauds. I mean, look at Scarborough.
Oh, sure.
Scarborough, supposedly conservative Tea Party area, and then he goes on MSNBC, becomes a wackadoodle on the left. And that's the thing is that's who he always was. That's who he always was.
But it's funny is
lied.
After Trump got elected, him and Mika, didn't they go to Mar-a-Lago and interview Trump, and then came back on the air and gave him like a pass on so many things? Like,
I don't recall them giving him a pass, but they get a little grief for not beating up on Trump after they
that's what it was. They didn't really beat up on him. They kind of gave him a little bit of an attaboy, if you will, because he took the time to meet with them.
That was short-lived. They're back to attacking him again.
Oh, of course.
Those two are just evil little nasty trolls. Anyway.
Right.
What are you going to do?
That's what MSNBC needs them to play, that role, And isn't MSNBC, is it going away, or has it gone away yet?
As I've heard on the radio, is it called MS Now or something like that? Did it change
it's a name change. That's what it is. So a name change. Okay, that's what it was. I knew it was some big announcement or whatever.
They're trying to revive themselves with a name change.
Yeah, renew who they are. Yeah, because MSNBC became MSDNC and became just so horrible of a name. So you got to rebrand every now and then, right?
Yeah, I don't think they've it's weird because I think that's just a block of their shows. So yeah, MS Now, our new website, has a new name, MSNBC. So it is MS Now. Yeah, they've renamed
Okay,
themselves.
there you go.
But they still as crappy as always was.
All right, folks, we'll be at the top of the hour. If you're gonna tune back in, if not, Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, but stick around after this commercial.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at wsmn.live.
ABC News, I'm Stephanie Officer. President Trump is mentioned by name in the latest batch of Jeffrey Epstein files released by the Justice Department.
The Department of Justice on the defense after releasing more of the Jeffrey Epstein files early Tuesday morning. DOJ officials saying in a statement that some of the latest documents in this batch contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. The DOJ did not specify which documents it's referring to.
That's ABC's Rena Roy. President Trump taking calls from children around the country this Christmas Eve from Mar-a-Lago, alongside NORAD tracking Santa's round-the-world flight. Here he is speaking to 8-year-old Amelia from Anthony, Kansas.
What would you like Santa to bring?
Not coal.
Not coal. No, you don't want, well, coal is, you mean clean, beautiful coal. I had to do that, I'm sorry.
This is ABC News. Federal prosecutors have added charges against the man suspected of shooting 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard near the White House before Thanksgiving. One of them, specialist Sarah Backstrom, was killed. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
The addition of 2 federal firearms counts to the existing murder, assault, and weapons charges under D.C. law moves the case from local to federal court. For now, authorities have not charged the suspected shooter, Ramanullah Lackenwall, with terrorism-related offenses. An FBI affidavit says he initially sought an AR-15 or AK-47 rifle and eventually obtained a stolen .357 revolver before he drove cross-country from Washington state. The affidavit says he put the White House into Google Maps.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo celebrating his first Christmas as pontiff. He delivered a homily to a crowd of thousands, describing the wisdom of the Christmas story. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and you can get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STATE5 to get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATE5 to get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank. That's code STATE5 for up to a $5 cashback bonus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
The only thing we have to say is one small step for man.
And the Boston Red Sox.
This is WSMN's Life of the Day for December 24th. Happening on this day in 1920, Enrico Caruso gives his final public performance. And in 1974, former astronaut John Glenn is sworn into the U.S. Senate. Born on this day in 1906, Howard Hughes. In 1922, actress Ava Gardner. Dying on this day in 2011, Tarzan's loyal companion, chimpanzee Cheetah. He was 80.
It's the most
wonderful time of the year.
And finally, on this day, we end our tribute to holiday classics. 1963, Andy Williams, It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And that's WSMN's Life in a Day for December 24th. I'm Phil King.
It's the happiest season of all.
Hi, Nashua. I'm Perry Cataldo from Choice Benefit Services, your local insurance agent that has dedicated himself to all the Medicare plans in New Hampshire. Whether you're just turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I'll explain all your Medicare options and extra benefits that you hear so much about. I ensure you're getting all you're entitled to and all that you deserve. Nashua, don't get fooled again this year. Call Perry Cataldo at 603-461-5550. That's 603-461-5550. Or visit me online at cbsnh.com. That's cbsnh.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, health is wealth.
Continuing the legacy started in 1904, Roger Pellerin of Gate City Monument Incorporated continues to provide the same high-quality monument, custom headstone, and stoneworking craftsmanship today that they built their reputation on over 100 years ago, servicing Nashua, New Hampshire, as well as nearby areas in Massachusetts, such as Lowell, Billerica, Chelmsford, and beyond. From creating custom monuments to memorialize, to landscaping and granite work or restorative services, each job is done to your satisfaction and is backed by decades of experience and integrity. If you're thinking about stonework, think Roger Pellerin of Gate City Monument. Visit online at gatecitymonument.com. Stop by and meet Roger at 321 West Hollis Street in Nashua, or call 603-883-7141. That's 603-883-7141. Gate City Monument, memorials of distinction for people who care.
All right, folks, as promised, your president's here. Merry Christmas is what we say. We say Merry Christmas. Some people don't say it. We say it. Merry Christmas. Anyway, this thing is hot. This thing's hot. That's a hot mask.
That was a short visit from Donald Trump. For those who couldn't see, Todd McKinley was wearing his Donald Trump mask.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny. I don't know, but I thought it'd be funny if I didn't announce it. But I announced it like a fool during the first hour. I ruined it. It was ruined. But Christmas is not over yet. We could still say Merry Christmas all the way through tomorrow. Oh, man. Anyway, John Schoenberger joining us from Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. Thank you, Shoney. He is a chaplain in the American Legion, by the way. He'll be the department chaplain as of January 14th, by the way. So he'll take over the state as a chaplain. He's in our chat right there, just so you guys know. Shout out to Johnny Schoenberger. Appreciate you. Also appreciate the service that you provided to our country. God bless you. God bless all of our veterans that are out there. I wanted to say that the lead in for this hour real quick, and then turn it over to Colonel Chris Wyatt. Anything that you're thankful for, and anything you want to message you want to send out to anybody out there, and then we'll go to John.
Well, I'm thankful for life. You know, life is precious and people take it for granted, and you act like you're always going to be here. And
right.
A lot of people walk around with a scowl on their face and unhappy about things and moaning about this and that. But, you know, a lot of people would be happy to be in your shoes in another part of the world. Things aren't always as sunny and rosy for everybody. So for me, I'm happy to be alive. I cherish each and every day, and life is a gift. And I would never want to leave. I'm shooting for triple figures here, man. We're going to get some, I want that key medical breakthrough to come through, that fountain of youth, so I can drink that elixir here and just keep going. Maybe
right.
get that hip repaired without surgery with a magical elixir.
Make America healthy again.
Like Ponce de Leon jumping in and out of ponds all over Florida.
Yeah. John, what are you thankful for? I know it's not Thanksgiving, but for this Christmas season, or any message you want to send to anybody that's out there?
I'm thankful every day, Todd. People say, man, how's it going for you, man? I'm above ground, not below ground. I don't care. They complain about the weather. I don't complain about the weather. I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's hot. I don't care if it's raining. I'm going to deal with it. I can, as a human being, I can deal with that. I can't deal with lying in the ground. That's not something I'm looking forward to. We live in the greatest country in the world, and I've grown quite skilled at ignoring the whiny complainingness of the left on social media. I learned how to scroll by without saying things. So I'm thankful for that skill. That's pretty good.
Right.
Here's the finger. That's your sign, and scroll on by.
Right, you go scroll on by. Yeah, I want to say we got a couple of people in the chat here. Some of the over the road truckers that are out there that listen to us. And of course, this show started out on trucking. It was independent trucking broadcasting. To those guys that are out there on the road right now, bringing goods to the market, as we speak. Appreciate what they do. Underappreciated in a lot of respects. We talk about it here quite regularly, especially John. Thank you for what you guys do. Merry Christmas to all the truckers that are out there on the road right now. God bless each and every one of you for sure.
So, Todd, what are you thankful about?
I'm thankful for this show right here. I can tell you, it's a good thing. I look forward to it every week. We can vent a little bit, let off a little steam. Of course, it keeps me tied to politics, if you will. Every day I try to avoid looking at it, reading it, watching it, because it just makes you mad. You think of the worst of societies out there because you watch, say, Fox News, MSNBC, as we talked to MS Now, whatever the case may be. You look at social media, you think the worst things are going on out there, but there's a lot of good that's out there as well. And of course, this show, I think we try to we poke a little fun at the left for sure because we oppose them vehemently. But at the same time, we talk about what makes this country great. So I look forward to this show every week for sure. So I appreciate this show and each of you two guys for sure.
Well, absolutely. Thanks. It's a fun show, I think. At least I have fun doing it with you guys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And no, Holden, I have not met Roger Pellerin. I probably should stop in there. Probably invite him to come on the show one Wednesday.
I love it. Have you met Roger? He sounds great. I love that.
I'm definitely going to meet Roger one day. I've been saying that for a while now. I'm going to come up there just to meet Roger. That's for darn sure. I've already met John, so I don't need to see John again.
Oh, wow. You don't want to see me anymore. See the impression I made?
We do need to come up there at some point and do a show in the actual studio.
That would be pretty awesome.
John, haven't we linked up twice? We linked up in Florida and also up here in PA. Didn't we do that?
Yeah, we did.
Right.
We went to
CPAC.
CPAC, yeah.
Yeah, that was during the COVID together, right?
Yeah.
That's when I met.
The funny thing is, CPAC, we didn't have to wear masks indoors.
That's right, but I got to meet Hercules.
The actor that played Hercules.
Yes, Kevin Sorbo was there.
Kevin Sorbo, right.
And then I got to interview him. It was pretty cool. He was a good guest.
True. And you had him on your show too, right?
I had him on my show, and he said he'd come back, but we had a scheduling conflict, so I need to reach out to him again. But absolutely. Yeah. Hercules, Captain Dylan Hunt, the Andromeda Ascendant.
Yeah.
People remember him for Hercules, but for me, he's Captain Dylan Hunt. I love that show.
Yeah. So you like a lot of the sci-fi stuff.
I do. I'm big into sci-fi. It's sci-fi, rugby, history, travel. That's my bag.
So if you had to rate, let's say, sci-fi shows that are out there, what's your top? And of course, different iterations of. Let's say if you're talking about just Trek, are we talking about original series, new generation? What are we looking at here?
Oh, for Star Trek, honestly, the best series was The Next Generation by far. The acting was incredible. The storyline was great. It was fantastic. But then Enterprise came a close second for me. That's the one with Scott Bakula where he played Jonathan Archer. That was a good second. The new ones have much better, AI and animation and special effects. But the problem is that they're so woke, it's nauseating. I mean, Picard is a good series, but it's just so woke. They turned 7 of 9 into a lesbian. I mean, she's a Borg. She has no feelings. How could she be a lesbian? Okay, wait, maybe that describes some lesbians. I don't know. I don't know.
No feeling.
Emotionless lesbians.
I don't know. Maybe there are emotionless lesbians. I don't know. But the point is, it's just so for me, it's Next Generation. Then comes Enterprise, which might surprise some people. And then the show that was least appreciated, in my view, is not Voyager, which some people think. But I mean, Captain Janeway lost her ship on every show. She should have been fired 100 times.
Right.
Every show, people board her ship and take over. She's never in charge. No, the one that is really overlooked is that has such depth, and it's because it started kind of slow, but it really got better. And that's Deep Space Nine. That is a heck of a storyline and quite a bridging of the Alpha and the Delta Quadrant, and just and all the aliens, the Jem'Hadar, and just the way they brought it together. And then they brought Worf onto the show. It was really good. That was a great show for about 6 of its seasons, and it's just Deep Space Nine is the most underappreciated, I think, of all the Star Trek series.
Well, I've heard that from a lot of people who are Trek fans that they say that a lot of great stories, but they're didn't have the funding or whatever, didn't find the audience. I'm not sure.
Well, the problem is that Star Trek is about exploring, it's about,
because it was more of a fixed
5-year mission. It was a fixed point in space. But when they brought the Defiant into the storyline, that was the ship, and put Worf in charge of Defiant, it really gave them the reach to go beyond and travel back and forth, but still stay anchored to the stadium. And so, but the show was really good. I mean, I like how they have the Ferengi in there that ran the bar. That was kind of a cool
Right.
interaction. And then
Right.
of course with Odo, who's the shapeshifter, and his time goes back to when the Cardassians were running the place. It really had a great story arc, and it was really well done. And they also linked it well to the Battle of Wolf 359, where the Borg. I mean, gosh, I really sound like a serious Trekkie now with all these reference points here. I'm not a serious Trekkie. I just like good science fiction, and then that's a really good show. So I think it was underappreciated at the time. I've gone back and watched some of the seasons recently, a few years ago, and I'm like, wow, this was really good for its time. It was well done. I mean, it's also I'm not a woke person, but it was very interesting to see Benjamin Sisko in the role of the guy in charge. I was a black guy, but to me, Benjamin Sisko, the actor, was he's Hawk from Spencer for Hire. That's who Avery Brooks is.
Spencer, that's a throwback. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who. When I'm like, wow, that's why I want to watch it, because I like the character Hawk. I'm like, hey, that's Hawk, man. He's in charge of a space station. How cool is that? Yeah, it's just a really good show. It's really well done. Great writing, great acting. And again, like I said, the later ones, Picard is pretty good, but it just got so woke. I started watching again the other night, and I'm like, what a shame they ruined this show with being so woke. But it's still a good show.
Yeah.
But that next generation, the casting for that was brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. They had that one little hiccup with the doctor, and then it brought Gates McFadden, and she was much better. But other than that, it was just brilliant. I mean, Colm Meaney is the engineer. It just, Geordie LaForge, of course, that's what's his name? LeVar Burton, who was really good.
Robert, yeah.
Michael Dorn as Worf, and then Brent Spiner as Data. And of course, the captain was amazing. And even Jonathan Frakes is the first. It worked, I mean, it's hard because a lot of shows don't really work, particularly science fiction, but some do. Like right now, Fallout. I don't know if you've seen that. That's a series that's out. Fallout's based on a video game. It's actually pretty good, but it's like wild science fiction, but it's a pretty good series too. But it's pretty gory and graphic.
Right. Yeah. I've seen clips of it and people talk about it, and but I've not actually gotten to watch it yet.
What season are they on Fallout? I watched the first season, I think.
That's it. One. They're waiting for number 2. Somebody, Carrie, said in the chat that I liked it, and I don't even watch TV. See, there you go.
I don't watch TV. That's right. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, let's see. We got a few Christmas messages here in the chat. Yeah. Merry Christmas to all the listeners, whether you're listening in the States or South Africa or anywhere in the world. Appreciate you tuning in every week, 7 to 9 Eastern, right here on WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. Yes, sir. Love this show. Like I said, again, appreciate it. Hope everybody's going to have a good Christmas tomorrow. We know there's a lot of people that aren't, so let's keep them in our mind tomorrow. And if you can, donate to something to, like say a local Salvation Army or something, so other people can have a little something. That would always be appreciated, I'm sure.
Right. Make sure the food bank stays stocked, things like that.
Don't just throw it out and we didn't eat it. Let's just toss it. I'm sure there'd be somebody that would like to have, prepared meals, a few prepared meals for sure.
I heard a guy walking down the street as I was coming to the station crying out, I want a cigarette. He's walking all alone. I'm like,
he's yelling, I want a cigarette.
If I smoked, I'd have gave him a cigarette, but I don't.
Yeah. Here you go. New Trump admin envoy says U.S. won't conquer, in quotations, Greenland, emphasizes talks with locals as Denmark balks at move. Donald Trump's newly appointed envoy, again, this is from Fox News, to Greenland, said Tuesday the administration wants to open a dialogue with residents of the territory, stressing the U.S. is not seeking to conquer the island, but would love to have talks with the residents thereof, and we'll see where that goes. Don't think that we're going to be annexed anytime soon, but would love to have that property for sure. I'm imagining Trump would love to put some golf courses up there, Trump Greenland or something. I don't know.
That would be pretty awesome, probably. If they become part of the United States. I mean, it would be a definite achievement for the United States. We going back to what Chris was saying earlier, militarily speaking and stuff. That's a vital area.
Oh, absolutely. How would you incorporate them? Would they just to be a territory, or?
Yeah, it would be a territory. Yeah. It's not sufficient to be a state. It would be a territory, and that's what it should be. Look, I don't. This is not serious. Trump is using this to get Denmark to do its job. The Danes. I love this because, the wokesters in Europe are always running around talking about, colonization, indigenous populations, and all this stuff. And here we have a colonial power that's holding on to a Viking era, a Viking area of colonial settlement, which is largely depopulated of Norse peoples. I mean, the Vikings settled in the eastern and western settlement of Greenland, and they had a few thousand, 3,000, 4,000, something like that, people living there at one point. But then because of changing climate change, the conditions turned against them, and they wound up pretty much, dwindling down to nothing. The last people there left and went back to Iceland. So, this is a colonial power holding on to a colony essentially, and they act like, it's Greenland's independent. It's not. It's subservient to Copenhagen. And it's funny to see the Danes playing the role of colonizers, acting like they're defending Greenland. The population of Greenland is less than 60,000. And quite frankly, Denmark has not done its job. It's part of NATO, and it has not patrolled the Arctic Sea north of Greenland and the lanes around Greenland. And they've left it vulnerable to the Chinese and Russians, who are doing what they want with impunity up there. Right. And that's what Trump wants. Now, earlier this year, after Trump threatened to buy it or, acquire it, Denmark quietly, but I did announce this, Denmark quietly announced that they were going to spend $890 million to buy, I think, 3 frigates and build a naval base in Greenland to patrol the Arctic Sea, which is what Trump wanted. But maybe this has slowed down and Trump's trying to push them a little faster because they're trying to wait Trump out. Whatever the case is, we had a chance to buy Greenland. Denmark would have sold it to us at the end of the Second World War, but Congress wouldn't authorize it. How stupid were they? Wouldn't it be amazing to have Greenland today?
Very dumb.
And it's been sought after since the mid 1800s. Or early 1800s.
Back and forth, yes. There's been interest in it, yeah. So
you guys been paying attention to Canada? I think Alberta's been on.
Alberta's going to have a referendum for independence. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. There's been talks that they'd like to become a 51st state, but I don't think it's. There's nothing concrete in that. Obviously, I think they just want independence. And there's a few other Western provinces are looking at the same thing, which is going to really, really turn the screws to Ottawa. If Yukon, Alberta, a number of those provinces turn around to cede Canada, Ottawa's going to be twisting the wind, and everybody knows Quebec wanted to leave Canada decades ago.
Yeah, that's a true point about Quebec. And so there's a real chance here that if this thing were actually to go through, I'm not saying there's a chance to go through, but if it actually happens, Canada could quickly devolve into multiple countries. You would have Alberta declaring its independence. Quebec would shortly after follow. That would leave basically the rump of Canada, which is where bulk of the population, Ontario and that area, there are a couple provinces next to it, would survive. But then you're going to have a push from places like Nunavut and the Northwest Territories for their own independence, or a country of their own up there. And British Columbia could survive on its own. So, I mean, anything could happen. But if Alberta comes out, that's a big chunk of Canada. They're going to have to go around. They're going to have to go around where it's not exactly ideal to travel up into the Arctic up here and then come back down, or they're going to have to travel through a foreign country to get to the country's capital.
To my understanding, logistically speaking, they need Alberta for running lanes and stuff. They basically, it cuts off Ontario if Alberta secedes.
Well, it cuts the entire country. It bifurcates it essentially. You can still have contiguous borders north of Alberta, which runs up through Nunavut, Northwest Territories. But I mean, you need snowmobiles. It's not ideal. But it would be a serious problem. And not just that, but Alberta is mineral rich and hydrocarbon rich. A lot of oil comes out of there. So Canada would be much poorer. But the thing is that's a conservative region, and I cheer them on because Canada's acted like fools. So hey, let's see it happen.
Absolutely. And I imagine if you did something like that, they could come to some agreement where you could still traverse the highways across through there, some sort of agreement on that, where they could collect some sort of toll or something coming into the country.
Toll. That'd be my idea. Make them pay a toll.
That's what I would do. Say, hey, you can use our highways, but you're going to pay the toll.
They're gonna be like Trump about it. We're going to secede, and we're going to make money off it and make you pay for it.
Right? Yeah, we'll be all right because we'll trade with the U.S. No problem.
Yeah.
They'll be just fine. Love to have them as a state though, because like you said, they are conservative. They seem reasonable outside of what their madness of their country is going through anyway.
Yeah, no, Alberta would be fascinating, but I mean, it's not a good thing for Canada that people feel this way. But they're not just people out in Alberta that feel this way. There's other parts. Some of the maritime provinces, people feel the same way. Of course, John alluded to the Quebecois have wanted independence for decades and haven't gotten it, but they're not the ones moaning about independence now. But I think that they would also like to have independence in Quebec. I mean, my thought.
Yeah, interesting. See how it plays out up there. But you can't be a leftist government and not expect people to push back at some point, because people generally like freedom in their their economic decisions, their daily lives, whatever, the raising of their kids, all this stuff. Eventually, people get enough of a government. I think.
Well,
If not,
they
you're going to
have,
die.
and they've had the truckers convoy over this,
Right.
And the way they treat, they were our J6ers. The truckers convoy, they arrested them. They charged them for, basically erroneous crimes and stuff. And the way they treated them, like they were criminal elements when they were really just protesting, just like they did with J6 here in the United States.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I don't want to drag down into that one. I'll stay out of it.
J6 or the truckers protest, or both?
No, the January 6th, we've talked to death, but no, I'm talking about the truckers protest. Because you're exactly right. And they got away with it. They got away with it. So,
because they're in power, and that's the problem with them. When people are in power, they're always going to get away with it, because they're going to twist the words of the laws and stuff to their favor. And until they're disempowered and somebody can turn that back around on them, that's what they do. And this is the problem with despotism.
Yeah, that's true. But nobody ever holds their feet to the fire once they're out of power. It's like, oh, they slap each other, on the back. No problem. We're going to raise money off of this. You're going to say this. I'll say that. It's a game.
Yeah.
I mean, whose feet? Think about it. The Clintons, their feet's never been held to the fire for anything ever. I mean, sure, Hillary may have lost an election, but
wait. No, they did. They just evaded the congressional hearing that they refused to go to, and the people are starting to be put to the fire, and
nothing's going to ever come of any of these things.
No, you're not hearing about arrest or anything.
Like Fauci, nothing's going to ever happen to Fauci, for example. Anything Obama's did, nothing's ever going to. The Biden's never going to face justice, not at all, for sure. Low-level people maybe getting some slaps on the wrist, maybe a little bit of time.
Maybe we do it like the French did back in, late 1700s.
Some guillotines and stuff on the Capitol.
Just do away with them, man. Start extinguishing it. To answer your question too, your previous question about Nancy Pelosi, I'd looked that up. 275 to upward to $280 million combined net worth of her and her husband, about 413 million plus, give or take.
Yeah, mostly from her time in Congress, not because of his business deal. I'm not saying
she was giving him investment advice and stuff.
Right. Oh, for sure. Right. Yeah. But I'm saying is, I'm sure he's an intelligent enough guy who probably would have done okay in business on his own, but not to the tune of nearly $500 million over that time.
You gotta question his decision-making abilities. After all, he did marry Nancy Pelosi.
Right. But got into Congress and utilized her criminal, acumen to good use, for sure.
Yeah, fair point.
So Harmeet Dillon, this is Harmeet Dillon to Newsmax. Whites protected by employment discrimination laws. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon told Newsmax on Wednesday that Minneapolis public schools will learn they cannot discriminate against white people. The Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, which Dillon leads, is suing Minneapolis public schools, accusing them of imposing race, sex, and national origin-based preferences in hiring, layoffs, reassignments, and reinstatements in violation of Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act. Dillon noted on Carl Higbee Frontline that it has always been against the law to discriminate based on skin color, even against white people. Minneapolis, man, what is wrong with those folks up there? The people in Minneapolis, what the heck is going on? Nutsos, crazies, and thieves.
Minnesota was always a fine state and pretty conservative, I thought, at one time. But
outside of Minneapolis, there's a lot of places that are conservative around Duluth, other spots, but Minneapolis, that's where the bulk of your the population is.
Yeah, bulk of the voters, I guess. I don't know, but they definitely some nutty stuff going on. I mean, they elected somebody like Tim Walz. You got to question their decision-making abilities as well.
Right. And not raise a red flag whenever he says, well, we need to go ahead and have those tampons over in the men's bathroom as well, because they may be spotty this month as well. Come on. Yeah. What's wrong? What is wrong with these people?
Well, Minnesota has a long history of wackadoodle politics and extreme leftists. They have a farmer workers party up there, Socialist Farmers Workers Party. So, I mean, look, I'm not surprised by anything that happens there. So,
I mean, Jesse Ventura was governor for a time.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? With a plurality of the vote, not a majority, which,
Right.
that explains a lot about the Minnesota's kind of wackadoodle state, which is a shame because some very interesting people there. So,
Brad Kohler, we've had him on this show, and he is
Yeah.
running for governor of Minnesota right now. But now the My Pillow guy there,
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. Yeah, I started saying Chuck Lindell. I'm thinking of
Chuck Liddell,
WWA, right? Or WW. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking, mixed martial
yeah,
arts.
yeah.
But
MMA guy.
yeah, I'm saying WW MMF. Anyway, he recently just put his hat in the ring, so maybe, just maybe, they'll get a decent governor between the two of them. I don't know, one or the other. My money's for Brad Kohler. If I was in Minnesota and I was voting, I'd be voting for Brad.
Now, do they have the jungle primary where everybody's all in one and the top 2 vote getters move on, or how does they work their primaries there? Is it
I have
a
no
Republican
idea on that.
Democrat primary, or because the states that do like everybody's in one basket, the top 2 or 3 go on. That's weird to me. I don't get that.
So you can have
that's
two
not a
Democrats
real
going on
primary
or something.
That's not a primary. Primary is a party deciding who they want to put up.
But then you also have this nonsense like New York where you have the rank thing where you pick your first
Ranked choice
choice.
voting.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all.
The problem is you get the guy in the middle, the third or fourth person you would vote for. It's like it narrows it down to where you don't. I don't know.
Right.
It makes it easier to cheat. It's really kind of
Instead- yeah.
complicating and.
Yeah, ranked choice voting is basically you get a 1, 2, and 3, and and based on how many, it's a point system.
Well, it's your preferences, right? So
Right.
this is the guy I wanted to win. This is my second choice. This is my third choice, my fourth and fifth choice. But the time when they narrow this down, everybody's got the guy that everybody would have picked like a third choice. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure
Right, yeah,
how it
allow
works that
somebody-
way, but you vote once, but your choices after that, it becomes a mess.
Yeah, it allows somebody who comes in third place in an initial vote to go on to win down the road. It's weird. Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, you can explain it in any number of ways, but that is kind of weird.
It is. It's kind of weird. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Kinda weird.
It's stupid is what it is. Sorry. Just stupid.
Yeah,
Just
Renee's
stupid.
talking about Minnesota and St. Paul. You got to remember, a bunch of people decided to block an interstate there, and a truck driver was coming through, not knowing they were there. He managed to stop before hitting anybody, but that crowd of people attacked him in his truck. And for some reason, the left of Minnesota thought that crowd of people blocking the interstate were the innocent people. And tried to blame the truck driver, saying he was trying to kill people. It's like, you're playing games in the interstate where people travel at high rates of speed. This is deadly games. This is how people get run over and killed. And somehow the truck driver was the bad guy. This is the mentality you're dealing with.
You shouldn't be
in
playing chicken,
And then that's a situation where, you say, oh, let the system sort it out. I'm sorry. If you're going to go arrest that if you're wearing a badge and a gun, you're going to go arrest that truck driver. I'm sorry. He should be able to defend himself against you at that point. Yeah, because you're not forcing any laws. I'm sorry.
That's what happened. They attacked his truck.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry.
they're trying to access his truck. I think they wanted to kill him.
You should
And
kill
he
everybody who
basically
comes
just
close
drove
to
up.
that
He got
truck.
some dipstick woman on top of his tanker truck, riding the top of the truck as he's driving away. She climbed up the back ladder for some odd reason. Nobody knows why, I'm sure.
And I'm sure he got
People are
caught with a
throwing
safety
bikes and all
violation.
sorts of stuff at the truck, and they're blaming him for driving away. I think at that point in time, he considered his life under threat.
Right. Yeah, it's like a Mad Max situation. Somebody climbing on a truck, right?
Oh, it was stupid.
Fury Road, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and he probably gets a safety violation ticket for having her on top of the truck, right? Even though she climbed up there on her own volition. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but his company was good enough. They paid for his attorney fees and everything, and he was found not guilty of what he done. But
the fact you had
naturally,
to
you would
go
think,
sit in a courtroom, I mean,
yeah,
come
your
on.
freedom was at threat there because of a bunch of jackwagons who thought they had a right to block the interstate.
And you had no judge who could look at it and say this is stupid, or an attorney saying we're not prosecuting this stupidity.
Here again,
all these people,
God,
all these
these
other people
judges-
should be.
These judges and attorneys are trying to twist things around with words in such ways. It's just incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a contortionist. Would love to be that kind of contortionist.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you'd be very flexible for sure. You'd be like Rubber Man or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Plastic Man. I don't know.
Stretch Man.
I don't know.
Remember that Stretch Man? You can pull those things out. And
Whichever the Fantastic Four is he Rubber Man or is he Plastic Man? I think it is.
I have
right?
no idea.
Whatever. Who cares?
I don't know which the character is, but I know who you're talking about. The guy.
Yeah.
His
But
arm
anyway,
does
yeah. Oh,
that.
that looked like
It looked like it,
right
doesn't
at the
it?
camera.
Right at the camera, man. It's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah, that's good stuff. But anyway, you're a sci-fi guy, but you're not a comic book superhero guy, right? It's Colonel.
No, I'm not really a superhero guy. I mean, I'll watch them; they're okay, but it's not my cup of tea. I read comics as a kid, but
Okay.
it's just no, it's I don't. You know, I like Deadpool. That one's kind of fun. but
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty good. Yeah,
but that's because
it's
of Ryan
funny.
Reynolds. He's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But I
funny.
mean,
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four, snooze. You know, that's not my cup of tea. The Incredible Hulk, not my cup of tea. I do like the Batman movies. So when they're done well, not when they're stupid, but then when they're done well.
Yeah.
But Superman movies, no, it just doesn't do it for me. You know. And
Yeah.
I have to admit, which was the one that Ryan Reynolds did, Green Lantern, or was that the
Green
one he
Lantern.
did?
Yeah, the one that he despises. He hates.
Yeah,
it,
he hates that movie. I actually think it's funny because I actually think he was pretty good at it.
But he during the Deadpool movie, he went back and retconned because he had played a different version of Deadpool earlier. He goes back and kills that version. Then he goes back and kills his Green Lantern character. And he's like, there's no reboots in those, you know, basically cleaned up the timeline. I love it.
Now, I love how he pokes fun at himself. That's also great stuff too, you know?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yeah. Interesting. What they own what is a Wrexham? They own a soccer or rugby? What is the team they own?
Wrexham, yeah, Wrexham is the
Wrexham, yeah.
club. Yeah, he and the guy from something about
It's Always
Philadelphia.
Sunny. Yeah, It's
Always
Always
Sunny in
Sunny.
Philadelphia. Yeah, those two guys bought the Wrexham club, which wasn't making any money for decades, was in jeopardy going out of business. But their celebrity turned into, it's like the second best selling, jerseys and everything. They're making a fortune off of it now, even though they're not exactly a winning club. But they did turn around their performance a little bit too. But they make a ton of money. I think only Manchester United makes more money than them now selling clothing.
Wow. That's something to be up against. The Manchester United. It's like the most valuable sports club in the world, I think, right now.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah, and then I think the Yankees was up there just because of the brand, not because they were good at baseball for a long time, but just because of the brand, because it's New York, you know what I mean? It's Gotham City, basically, right?
Well, I'm not a fan of of the Yankees, so I'll just keep my mouth shut on that one.
Yeah,
No,
George,
it's all right.
George Carlin was that way too. Always supported the Mets. He didn't like the Yankees.
Well, there's a lot of people that are that way. It's like it's the Mets, or before that it was the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers before they moved to
Brooklyn
LA.
before they went to
Yeah, the trolley Dodgers. That's where they got the name because they had all those trolley carts in Brooklyn, and of course to get across the road, you had to dodge the trolleys. They call them trolley Dodgers. Anyway, that's where the name comes from, by the way.
Didn't know that story. That's interesting.
Yeah. Some more useless trivia I can carry around.
Yeah, absolutely. So to Christmas Eve, about to be Christmas here in a few hours. You're listening to the Common Sense Conservatives right here on WSM 5090 AM and 95.3 FM. And of course, on the interwebs at wsmn.live. That's LIVE. And of course, we are living it up here tonight. Christmas Eve, rocking in this holiday season. Colonel Chris Wyatt in Central PA and John Grosvenor holding down the studio in Nashua. And of course, I'm not seeing much movement behind you there, John. Nobody walking by. I see a car going by now, but no roving Santa, drunken stupor that are out there tonight. No, Santa Claus.
I actually parked my vehicle right out here outside of the station. I mean, usually I have to go park it down the road somewhere and walk up.
Wow, interesting. That's good stuff. Yeah, but if you drive by the studio in downtown Nashua, give a honk there to John Grosvenor holding down the studio because we are live, ladies and gentlemen, for sure.
We do this every year. Last year, Chris and I did this on Christmas Day.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think you were out.
I was somewhere. No, I was actually at a Christmas party.
He was shamming somewhere.
Shamming. I love that time. That throws me back, man. Back in the day in the Army, man. He's shamming. He became a specialist. He had the sham shield, and it's funny you had like that senior specialist who'd been in the Army like several years, who should have been an NCO, but he's just doesn't have the drive, but he's like the senior specialist. He's always the spokesperson for the group, generally because he's in good with the NCOs because he's probably older than most of the buck sergeants. So he's the guy who goes in. He's the spokesman for the group, trying to get you out of doing a work detail or something. Like, hey, yeah, send him. He's the sham sergeant major or sham specialist major or whatever. Anyway, that was fun times in the Army for sure.
Yep, no, it's a long time.
Any Christmas or holiday stories, Colonel or John, from your time driving a truck or your time in the Army by chance?
Well, I'm not
Colonel,
but
go
that, but
ahead.
how about for my childhood? Here's one that always gets
Sure, go
people.
ahead.
Okay, so here's the deal with that one. So I was living in southeastern Ohio, and it must have been Christmas 1979, if I remember correctly. And my stepfather kept threatening that there wouldn't be any Christmas presents for my siblings, who are all younger than me. I was the eldest, and he said, if that guy comes here, I'm going to shoot him. I'll shoot Santa Claus.
Oh man.
So we put all the presents under the tree. I helped. I was 79. I must have been about 14, 15. And then he said, okay, it's time. It's just after midnight. We went out on the front porch with a couple shotguns and we started shooting. And and after the first round, he's like, I think I got him. Shoot, Chris, shoot real fast. And I fired mine. And he's like, shoot again. He's getting away. Shoot again.
How old were
Like
you?
I one of the reindeer. Well, I mean, I don't remember. It doesn't matter how old they are, but I would tell you what, it sounded like I heard a buffalo coming down the stairs, down the stairs, and they came flying around. No, he shot Santa Claus.
You talk about committed. That's commitment right there.
We were definitely committed to that storyline. That's for darn
man.
sure.
Man.
Oh, that's wild. And you went along with it, no problem. Was there alcohol involved by chance, or this was just
No,
a fun, funny idea?
there was no alcohol involved. This is a pretty straight thing. It was that's what really happened, man. I mean, I could make that story up if I tried.
No, you could not. John, anything like that? Did you
Honking
shoot
out
it
there,
safe?
Todd.
What happened?
Somebody was just honking out there. I think
Oh,
somebody was
good.
listening
Hey,
to
thank you.
There you go.
Drive by. Yeah,
Thanks for the honks.
Good deal. Thank you for listening to the show. Be safe out there. A lot of crazies in Nashua, especially John. Once he gets off here in a few minutes, he'll be driving home as fast as he can. Right, 100 miles an hour, John.
No, I'll be stopping by the store to get a bag of ice because I forgot to get ice for tomorrow.
TJ's reminding you, right?
Yeah, she didn't, but she'll be reminding me tomorrow if I don't have ice.
All right, there you go. Good stuff. So, what's the favorite dish for both of you? What do you guys enjoy eating on Christmas, or maybe growing up that you just love to have it because your grandmother made something every year that was a certain way, that you just loved her version of it or whatever?
Well, not grandmother, but family. I mean, my Christmas dinner is always turkey breast with cranberry sauce, a little bit of stuffing, sweet potatoes, and then maybe some corn on the cob if it's available. That isn't always available at Christmas time, but yeah, that's kind of my go-to. I like turkey. I don't get people that don't like turkey. On my show, people are dissing turkey. I'm like, that's because you don't know how to cook it.
I agree. It's kind of like that movie, Christmas Story. It's known
Right.
far and wide that my father was a turkey junkie. Yeah, turkey's great, man, for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's either that or prime rib is good for Christmas. Not bad.
Prime rib, yeah.
Thanksgiving, I'm getting turkey for sure, but tomorrow I think it's going to be prime rib.
Oh, okay, good deal, good stuff. And do you have
Prime rib for Christmas, man?
That's
That's not a tradition. What is that?
It is in my house, apparently.
What are you, a communist, man? What's up with prime rib?
My wife is not that fond of turkey, and my daughter's not that. I don't think she's that fond of turkey. So they decided on prime rib, and I think some pork loin or something.
Okay. Do you ever make any sandwiches out of the prime rib after the holidays?
You kidding?
I love a good prime
No,
rib
I
sandwich.
eat that stuff back up and eat it like a real meal, man.
There's nothing left for him to eat after the fact.
Yeah, I got you. John points to his belly. Yeah, you kidding?
Get in my belly.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how light I was when I was. Well, I can. I was like 125 pounds when I met my wife many, many years ago. That's changed a lot since. She's a good cook.
There you go.
125 pounds. My goodness, that's pretty light, man.
Yeah,
So,
I was light.
When the meal's being prepared around the Grosvenor household, what do you do? What's your role?
Stay out of the way.
Get the ice. Stay out of the way.
Stay out of the way. Let them do their thing. My daughter's a great cook. She is an awesome. My wife is a good cook. My daughter's a fantastic cook. And if they're going to do the cooking, I am not going to interfere at all. I know how to cook, but when they do their thing, man, I stay out of the way. I let them get their thing done.
Okay, there you go. Is there any particular tradition that you enjoy, like you look forward to, or something maybe as your childhood that you did every Christmas Eve or every Christmas, maybe a certain game you played or something like that? Anything like that?
my things shrank since people have passed and things changed through the years.
Right.
My wife's family had what they called a Yankee swap. Everybody brings a gift. You'd have that family
Right.
party and everybody
Right.
brings a gift.
Yeah.
I remember
We
one
played
day
that
we were
game.
trucking along and we were in Alabama or Mississippi, and there was literally like some cotton and stuff on the side of the road. And she picks up cotton and some mud and stuff like that, put together like Alabama real estate or something like that as a gag gift. And this whole Yankee swap. She's kind of my wife is always kind of a little prankster. Don't ever leave her alone in your house. You never know what's going to happen.
No, all right. Yeah, I used to like that. We'd play that game, and if you like something somebody else has, you could take their gift or whatever. That was
Yeah, yeah. So like if you pick numbers, so you
Yeah.
get to select from this big pot of gifts, and the number one got to pick first, and it
Yeah.
went through all your family members, and so when number one went, he held his, and number two went, he could swap with number one. And then number three went, they could swap with number one or two, and so on and so forth. So you either wanted the first number or the last number. But the problem is the end of the Yankee swap, number one still gets to be the last decider what gift he wants. So if you
Yeah.
get that really fantastic gift everybody wanted, you're out of luck.
Right. Yeah, a lot of times I'd end up leaving with what I brought. I'd bring a big thing of a body wash that you bought at like a dollar store for $1 or something like that. And I'd usually end up leaving with it. So I'd have my own body wash for a couple of months there. It worked out, as a kid. Hey, I'm having my own body wash. Don't have to share.
Oh, you did this when you were a kid?
Yeah, as a kid, you playing it with, but I'd always want to, be a part of the game. So I'd buy something, Of course, I'd buy my aunts and other people Christmas gifts, little stuff, at a cheap store or whatever. But I'd buy the body wash just for the Yankee swap game, and then usually end up leaving with it. So, but I'd have body wash for a couple months there. I'd save my mom a couple of dollars, whatever. It worked out.
Yeah, it's the Yankee swap, or I think they call it a Chinese swap too, or something. I don't know, but that's a fun game to play.
You get racist.
Yeah,
at Christmas.
I've done it a couple of times. I mean, I did it when our XO in Hanau wanted to do that. We went to his house back. It must have been like 92 or 93 for Christmas. It was interesting, but the big thing that everybody wanted was like a little like Lego honey wagon, a manure spreader. And that was what everybody wanted. They kept fighting over that. So that thing changed hands like 8 times that night.
That's funny. Yeah. So any young kids out there, NORAD, North American Air Defense, is tracking Santa. He is out there right now. So if you're watching us, no, that's Colonel Chris Wyatt, not Chris Kringle. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
No, I think it's Colonel Chris Wyatt Claus now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I also don't think that that's strictly for young kids. That news.
Well, yeah, some people believe it. Yeah. But if he's out there, he's making his way around all the good boys and girls out there. So I don't know if you're on the East Coast, it's about time for bed, kids. So you better start getting ready to go to bed if Santa's not going to visit you. I mean, come on.
Yep, and I've got a list, and I've already checked it twice. So
Joe Biden's not on it.
That's Joe Biden's definitely not on it.
Ilhan Omar's on a list.
Neither is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's not on the good list. Yep.
Ilhan Omar's on the ice list. She's on it. You got to get rid of her. Get him out.
She's on the ice list.
Yeah.
Hey, look, she's going to get a free plane ride out of it.
Yep. But these are people that think because they're elected to a legislative branch that they can, interfere with executive branch functions like law enforcement, as an example. I'm sorry, you have no freedom to go and interfere with law enforcement duties or military operations or anything like that. That's not your job. I'm sorry. We have, in my county here in Sullivan County, Tennessee, we have 1 or 2 county commissioners, and I'll be talking about that to any of my local listeners later on, as this election season heats up, who thinks that they can actually, interfere with private institutions, also with the Board of Education and the Department of Education, because they're elected to a local county commission. They think they have that authority, which they obviously don't. But this individual is running for re-election, and we're going to let people know all about her moving forward. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, the people have this terrible affliction of thinking they got to be in charge or control of something, can't stay in their own lanes. And what is it about? You got to make this perfectly clear. No matter what the problem is, very seldom the government's the answer. But everybody's running the government wanting a new law for this and wanting a new law for that. They don't realize you got to be careful what you ask for when it comes to government.
Yeah, you might just get it.
Yeah, you might get it and then some.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, maybe it's a time that we should do "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Do you mind if I read that poem?
Please go ahead. That'd be all right. Yeah.
All right, we'll do this because it's Christmas Eve. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew in a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wandering eyes would appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was all dressed in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke had encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head, soon he gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside to his nose, and giving a nod, up to the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him explain, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
There we go.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
all right. Good stuff.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Well, that's why I thought I'd read it tonight.
Do you do that recitation every year, or is it something you just thought of?
No, I did it earlier today, and I thought it was a good thing to do this year. I usually do something for my Christmas show. In the past, I've read letters in English, German, French, and Afrikaans that are sent in, and then I translate English for those who don't speak the other languages. I used to do that. I have guests come on and talk about the Christmas armistice in the First World War, when the Allies and the Central Powers stopped fighting despite their commanders. They ignored their commanders, and for one day they met up, came out of the trenches, laid down their arms. They shared Christmas meal. It was unbelievable what happened, and then went back killing each other the next day. But the point is that Christmas triumphed, Christianity and faith triumphed conflict, and it was really an amazing event. But Dr. Peter Hammond, who's a minister, he comes on the program normally every year and tells the story of the Christmas armistice, and I hear it every year, and it never bores me. It's just amazing to hear how soldiers stopped slaughtering each other despite the order. They were threatened. They were threatened by their commanders that they would be court-martialed, and they said, "To heck with you. We're not killing each other on Christmas." Now that didn't happen in 1915, 16, 17, 18, but it did happen in 1914. So there's also Christmas armistice in the Second World War in North Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's Christmas is an exciting time, and I just thought that would be a good thing. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and we haven't heard it in a while, so why not?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is the reason for the season, right? Christ's birth. I mean, it's what we celebrate. I mean, obviously, we do it playfully with Santa Claus and all that stuff like that, but it adds an element for young kids for sure. I mean, it's all in fun. I mean, some people look at it and say, "Oh, you shouldn't celebrate Christmas that way," and I'm like, "Get out of here!" You know, we're just enjoying ourselves, enjoying our lives, for crying out loud. You know, let people celebrate the way they want to. I think.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, it's look. I mean, I've seen some really nasty stuff on Twitter. Of course, that's a cesspool. But I've seen a lot of people publishing, "I'm a Muslim. I don't support Christmas." Well, good for you. I'm a Christian. I don't whine about Ramadan or the Eid al-Fitr. What's your problem?
Even though you probably celebrated them whenever you were in those countries, just
I
because you're
did. I
there.
mean,
Right.
when I was in Tunisia, a majority Muslim country, I participated in Ramadan and I fasted throughout Ramadan, which surprised some of my classmates. But I said, listen, we're a team here. I mean, there's no reason for me to sit here and eat in front of my colleagues. And they're like, yeah, but you eat when you go home. I'm like, no, not till the sun goes down. And they're like, what? I said, well,
Right.
isn't that the rule? And they're like, yeah, that's the rule. And some of the guys defended me. They're like, because the one guy's like, because I used to drink Coca-Cola and eat M&Ms all day long to keep me going when I was in those boring classes at the staff college there. And then when Ramadan came, I didn't do that. And then a couple weeks into Ramadan, this one guy's like asking about it. And I said I was fasting. And he's like, no, you don't. You just eat when you go home. And man, you should have seen the guy stand up for me. Like, no. Wyatt's one of us. No. Wyatt hasn't been touching anything, man. He's telling you the truth. It was great. I mean, look, if I can respect their faith, they ought to respect mine. But there are a lot of people in that faith that don't respect Christianity. And there's a number of Christians don't respect Islam. So let's be fair. Yep.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. If you could just leave people the heck alone. I mean, so what? We don't share the same faith, but why do we need to kill one another? Why do I need to come to your country to try to take you over, or go to your part of town, or your church, your mosque, whatever? Why can't I just leave you alone, bypass you? I'll worship the way I want to, and so on. Everybody should be left the heck alone. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and look, this if people don't celebrate Christianity, that's their business. But don't be
Sure.
disrespectful and rude to others. Just like if people don't participate in Ramadan, just let people do their own thing in Ramadan. No, we're celebrating, and this gets lost for those who celebrate as a secular holiday, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas as a secular holiday, particularly if you've lost your way and don't have faith. But the purpose of the date is to recognize the birth of the Christ child, and that's what it's all about. The Magi bringing gifts to him, following the North Star to find the manger in Bethlehem. And I've been to Bethlehem, which is a really it's a great pilgrimage to do. I mean, I wasn't going on a pilgrimage, but in essence, that's what it became. I've been to the church. It's fascinating. But yeah, it's about celebrating the birth of the Christ child who gave his life, so that we could be forgiven our sins. And trust me, politicians have a lot of sins.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, but they'll do their very best to ensure that you don't look behind the curtain at their sins while pointing the finger elsewhere. That's how they operate.
Indeed. But on this night, I'd like to say in just a couple of languages that I'm familiar with, I'd like to say a few Merry Christmas to folks. And of course, that is, Merry Christmas in English. In German, it's Frohe Weihnachten. In French, Joyeux Noël. Afrikaans, Gesehen de Kerstfeest. And just, I've forgotten it in Tswana. I know it, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. But for everyone, Merry Christmas to you around the world. There are Christians throughout the world. It's the fastest growing faith, despite the lies people tell about it. And we wish people all over the world a Merry Christmas. And I'm trying to think with the one that I can't think of. I think I've got it here. Oh, I found it. Yeah, there it is. The one in Tswana is Itumelele Keresemose. Itumelele Keresemose. Yep, that's Merry Christmas in Tswana. So that's the one I couldn't remember.
Do they have some Latin in Tswana, or is this because when you say E2, it almost sounded like a bit of Latin to me.
No, it's spelled ITUM, and then in Swahili, which I also know is Christmasi Njema. So there you go. So there it is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 languages.
There we go. Yeah, we're seeing over in the chat people from different parts of the world throwing in Merry Christmases, and appreciate it, Myra Page throwing in Merry Christmas. Thank you to everybody out there. Good deal.
Well, I mean,
we have
that's
a
our
lot
language.
of great commenters tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I would hope so. It's Christmas. People should be in a good mood.
Well, we always have good commenters here.
We got Heidi Kruger says happy birthday, Colonel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my birthday is just about 3 hours away.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So I'll be 59 again this year.
59 again this year. Are you drinking is that Coke that you're drinking there? Is that a small Coke?
It's Coke, and there's a little Santa Claus on the
can I was
right
going to say the Santa Claus. So that's when Santa used to be green traditionally, and Coca-Cola made him red for their advertisements way back in the early 1900s, and that's why
more or less invented Santa Claus for the U.S.
The modern Santa was invented by Coca-Cola, essentially, at least in the West.
Sinterklaas, as the Dutch would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saint Nikolaus, as the Germans would say. Yeah. And what was it? When I was in France, because of my beard during the Rugby World Cup, all these kids are like, Père Noël, which means Father Christmas. It was so funny. It was like, gosh, awful hot in France because it was August, September. And I was on the French Riviera and it was just sweltering and Bordeaux was so hot. And these kids, they see me and they're thinking of Father Christmas,
That's funny. Yeah.
And then in Afrikaans, it's Kerstvader.
Yeah, but the real Saint Nicholas, wasn't he like Greek? I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken.
You may be correct in that. There's lots of origin stories too, but I mean, that Saint Nicholas is a German origin story. There's a Dutch origin story. There's a Greek origin story.
Is
but
it
I mean,
Greek or Turkish?
No, definitely not Turkish. No. It's definitely a Christian thing. There are Christians in Turkey, but not a lot of them left. They're pretty much chased out when the Greeks fled out of there in the early part of the 20th century. But it's got lots of origin stories, and Christmas has lots of fascinating stories. And then people are like, oh, it's a pagan ritual. It's not a pagan ritual. That's nonsense. It's simply not true. It just happens to fall at the same time. It used to be a pagan ritual, at this time of year. And that corresponded with winter solstice, which we just had a few days back.
Right.
Yeah, and all the druids showed up at Stonehenge in England.
There was a cat there. Was there a cat there?
There was a theory that the Roman Catholic Church tried to intermix. Oh,
there it is.
All right. Merry Christmas, folks. We'll be back next Wednesday, 7 to 9 Eastern. Until then, God bless. Take care.